Yo. So I'm in Berlin right now, and this is month 4 of the fill-in experiments. Started December 12th, 2018, and here it is, the 19th of April, so a little bit more than 4 months. So right now, like I said, I'm in Germany, in Berlin, and a month ago I did this video on a giant heap of horse shit, and now I'm standing in my buddy Tobias's flat in the neighborhood of Friedrichstein. This is fucking dope. It's Good Friday, full moon in Libra right now, in the sign of Aries. Oh, excuse me. I shouldn't talk too much about fucking astrology when I don't know too much about it, but anyhow. Yeah, lots shifted in the last month, and it's been an intense process for me. Yeah, again, going from Ireland, where I lived with a family for 5 weeks, 2 of my friends and their 2 kids, and I tended after like 8 horses for 5 weeks, to being in Berlin for the last 10 days, living in Berlin for the last 10 days, and not having a schedule or a routine or something that I needed to do. I did come to Berlin to be a helper at a tantric energetics workshop, and this is something I'd highly recommend. Just Google or Facebook Tantric Energetics Berlin, and you'll come to Chrisana and Mazen's page. So I came here to help with that, and that was the main thing. And the workshop brought up a lot for me. And so the last 5 days that I've been here, I've been going through this deep process, and there's been this accumulation of what's been happening over the last 4 months, because things have been spinning so fast and so rapidly for me that I haven't had these moments where I was able just to sit and process and feel what has it been like to go from an accountant for 5 years to being retired, to living in San Francisco in a 30-person co-op, to going to Austin, Texas and doing grounding camp, to flying to Austria and doing a snowboard certification course, to living in Jochberg and working for a little bit, to snowboarding in Switzerland, to living in Ireland, and then to being in Berlin. It's not only has this been the first time in 5 weeks where I've seen and met and connected with familiar faces, because I was here last July, and so I was here for a month and I met people. So I've had 30 days of experience with some people here and that's more than anyone that I've known this entire trip or this entire living experiment that I've been on over the last 4 months. So I felt extremely at home and comfortable and grounded in this. Like, to come to a familiar space was just like finally, just this let go and this release to be here has been extremely therapeutic and helpful for me. At the same time, with what came up for me at the Tantric Energetics workshop, even though I was a step removed from being like in the heart of the program, which isn't exactly true, I was just in a different space, because I wasn't part of like the actual participants. I was a helper, and then you have Chrisana and Mazen who are facilitating. So the helper space was new for me. But yeah, a lot's come up for me because, well, I've had time to process. I've had time to sit down. So it's been an extremely emotion-full week, and I've had amazing support along the way. So one thing that's come up for me is fear. A lot of fear and some very base level fundamental fears that happen in life. So for me, it's been survival. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 weeks. I don't know where I'm going to be in 7 weeks or 8 weeks. Like, I have some things planned out, but other than that, like, I don't know where I'm going to be next. Like, I know tomorrow I go to Austria. But where do I go after that? Like, I don't know. So it's been food, water, and shelter. Like, really getting acquainted with surviving. At the same time, money. Like, I thought for this last week that I've had this fear of money. And I realized it's not a fear of money, because like, I could make some movement really quick and have thousands of dollars like in my bank account if I really wanted to. At the same time, yesterday I had $400 wired into my account, and I felt exactly the same. So these very like primal and earthly and like very real sensations of fear have been coming up for me. And so I've been exploring and communicating and sharing these fears with people that I have. And what I've realized is everyone has them. If the population that I've talked to here is a representation of the bigger population, then we all have these fears. And one thing that I realized was, for years I was masking these fears, because even when I had roughly $10,000 saved up, there was still fear of spending money. So I've gotten really close to these fears. And today I was sitting down with Mazen and Krisana, and I was doing an interview, which I was really stoked about, and it didn't get recorded, so no one will see this, but I have the experience of going through it. And I was asking Mazen and Krisana, how do you remove fear from your life? And then Mazen said, replace the word fear with love and ask the same question. And I instantly got really choked up, and it was hard for me just to utter this sentence or this question of how do we remove love from our life, or how do we remove fear? How do we remove love? And it's this deep process, again, by one simple question and one simple word exchange. And so for me, as I've been sharing and having conversations, and I had a conversation with my with my mate back in the States, is I'm not sure the fears ever go away. And I'm not sure, and I don't think that it matters if they go away. What I feel matters is when we find meaning in the fear, when we find meaning in whatever's happening in our life. And for me, where I found meaning around the fear of not having money or being able to survive, specifically with money, is I was in a fear space, and I will be, and I am in an overflow space, because it's fucking there and it's obvious. And so for me, this has been an opportunity for me to get very close to, why do I want to make money? Like, why? And not for these basic level things, like for food, water, and shelter, to have clothing, because to survive is pretty easy, and you don't need a lot of money to survive, if any money at all. You just ask for help. So very rarely would anyone actually be on the streets. Like, you just ask for help and you'll survive. But when it comes to making money, it's like, why do I want to make money? And what am I making money for? And so as I ascend and as I move deeper into the state of overflow and generating more and more money and resources, that I can be in a space where there's 30,000 in my bank account and something costs 20,000 or 25 or 30,000. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's why I had it. There'll be more. It's all right. So instead of like this fear of like, which where I operated from in the past was, okay, I have 10,000 in the bank account. This thing's gonna cost 2. It's like, how fast can I fucking save up another $2,000? Because I had derived a lot of safety and comfort and security from my bank account and from money, from something that's always gonna flow and waver. So yeah, this week's been a huge process and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And the main reason why that's happened is because I chose to be here and I put myself in this situation. And that was a hard reminder that Mazen reminded me of this weekend, or of this week. So yeah, that's my invitation. Is, why do you make money? And when you get close to your fears, is the invitation is to find meaning in the fear, because the fear is here to support us and it's here to help us. So this has been week, or the feeling experiment, session 4, I guess, 4 months into this. Yeah, talk to you soon.